Hey everyone. I read this book this morning because somebody recommended it. Actually, my daughter, who's 8. It's called Birdsong by Katya Balen. It's a children's book, so it's a 25-minute read. You see, the print's not particularly fine or anything. It's only 97 pages. 10 out of 10. Absolutely brilliant. A lot of grown-up books that they don't come close to this. And I'd never heard of this lady before, Katya Balen. I hope I'm saying the name right. But it's a really moving, really beautifully written, really well constructed story. Really masterful story writing or storytelling, shall I say? And I'll just read you the bit on the back because I literally just. She handed it to me this morning. She said, "You should read this. I think you'd like it." Or actually last night. There is music everywhere if you know how to listen. After a devastating car crash, Annie is unable to play her flute and she retreats from the music she's always loved. She exists in a world of angry silence, furious with her mum and furious she can't seem to play her beloved flute anymore. Then she meets Noah, who shows her the blackbird's nest hidden in the scrubland near their flats. As their friendship grows, the blackbird's glorious song reignites Annie's passion for music. But when tragedy strikes again, will her fragile progress be put at risk? That sounds quite cheesy, and it doesn't actually do the story justice. The story is magnificent. Just the tension that's created, the way it resolves, the progress of the characters, the description of everything as music. I'm just going to read you the first chapter. Somebody on the front, I just noticed, Phil Earle has written word perfect, note perfect, and it really is. It's incredible. I'm a man, yeah. There were parts in this where I had to catch my breath and almost fight back a tear because without actually saying anything about the emotions being felt. I don't think they ever mentioned the word sad in here once, maybe angry, but just the interactions, the way the interactions between characters are described. And what the characters don't do in a given situation just makes you feel and see and picture the emotions that each must be feeling. It's really, really good. I'll read you the first chapter, which is probably about 10 seconds long. There is music everywhere if you know how to listen. I'm walking home and I hear notes in the tap of my feet on the pavement and the fizz of a can of Coke. I can find music in the whoosh of our front door opening and Mum calling my name. I can fit the notes that I hear together and they build into a symphony of sounds that swirl and swish and lift me up like I'm flying, mostly, but not when not when the music is the sound of glass breaking, not when it's the sound of metal crumpling, not when it's the sound of tires screeching, not when it's the sound of me screaming. Masterpiece. That's the first chapter. It starts so beautifully, introduces you to the way the protagonist, Annie, thinks, and it tells you that actually something really bad has happened. And it's got you asking all those questions and feeling all those things in the space of probably less than, I don't know, 100 words. Really, really good. And then there are sections in here where, for example, without reading you the rest of the chapter, I've just opened it randomly. I remember it now because I only read it less than an hour ago. 3 sentences that end this sentence. It's then that I notice what's different. It's silent. The blackbirds aren't gathering their song. Maybe that has a lot of impact. Maybe it doesn't. But if you'd read that chapter, it would hit you like a, it would hit you like a hammer. It's a really beautiful story. When you read something so good or you hear something so good, maybe a piece of music, you think, I wish I'd written that. Fantastic. I'm definitely giving this one 10 out of 10. If you're going to spend 25 minutes doing something and you want entertainment and you want to see skill at a high level, it's like when you watch gymnastics. I like watching gymnastics. Simply, I'm not a gymnast, but simply just to see how skilled these people are and see them perform at that level. To read writing written at this level is quite something, I think. And I write. So maybe it's easier for me to appreciate. Maybe if you're a builder, you could walk past a brick wall and say, look how beautifully that's put together, and everybody else is thinking it's a brick wall, right? But I think you get the point. Really, really great story. If she's got anything else, I mean, if this author has written anything else, I'll definitely be reading it. It's yeah, superb book. So maybe it's introduced you to a reader you never would have considered, a writer you never would have considered reading. But really, really good stuff. I'd probably read this again if I was bored. It's like when some people rewatch something on Netflix, but this is only 25 minutes. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that fantastic book, Birdsong, by Katya Balen, which is how I think you say the name.